place. I will definitely tell you about the game, but first I will throw out something that has not been there for a long time. I'm talking about offline events. For 3 years already, exhibitions, presentations and other activities have either been cancelled or held online, and this is not at all. And now, suddenly, an invitation arrives, written right on paper. The game was shown in one of the Moscow restaurants, which was stylized and decorated, as it seems to me. After all, I was not there then, under the magnificent gatherings of the top nomenclatura of the USSR of the 50s. High ceilings, paintings on the walls with symbols of the ruling party, a lot of red in the design, huge vases with red flowers on the tables and many signs with slogans. Do you understand, comrades? The organizers tried to create an atmosphere from the game and I think they succeeded. They even gave me a special pass from Enterprise 3826, as it later turned out. It indicated the opportunity to get acquainted with the game in the first turn among all the guests. Before the game session, I was given a drink of water and special actors very convincingly played several scenes from the world of the game in a non-obvious form. I don't think it's interesting for you to read that the water was delicious, and the Olivier was fresh and with mayonnaise, so let's move on to the next part of my story. Before the game session, the history of the world. Not everyone managed to play, but I think that today all gaming resources will publish articles similar to mine that the guys also tried the game, since there is no embargo on the gameplay experience and everyone will share them. What was forbidden at the event was to shoot monitor screens in the demo room, so the graphics for the material will be the one that the developers will send us. To immerse yourself in the atmosphere of the game before the game session, a 15-minute video told the story of the world and what awaits us. For those who, like me, did not follow the game, it sounds like this. In the 40s to 50s, Professor Sichanov, I called him the Russian Howard Stark, who is smog, makes a number of discoveries in the field of energy and polymers, which allow the USSR after World War II quickly recover and even become a leading country on the globe. In that version of the past, people who injected themselves with the polymer in their heads can master skills in a matter of seconds, literally like Neo in the movie The Matrix, when he was trained on the Morpheus ship. Just download the program into a person and, lo, he understands quantum physics, knows the Korean language and masterfully owns the profession of a cook. And when there is literally one step left before the onset of a brighter future, something happens that makes the robots get out of control, and the main character, Major Nachiv with the call sign P3, sets off on his journey. The glove is everything. In the game we will have a talking glove. She even has a name, her name is Hraz. Throughout the game, she will conduct a dialogue with us, giving advice and guiding the main character in the right direction. There is so much in the game tied to it that I even had to write a separate chapter for it, so, with the glove during the game, I managed to collect loot, freeze opponents, heal myself, subdue robots, connect to various interfaces for interaction, shock opponents, and even somehow subdue the powers of telekinesis. The huge possibilities of the glove are the key to the replay value of the game, according to the developers, and we will find out what will be there in practice at the release. Weapon. According to the developers, there are 13 types of weapons in the game, but we won't be able to use all of them at once due to the bag limit. The game has character leveling schemes, there will be 4 of them, but we can only use 2 at the same time, so we need to think about which branches and why to download. You can pump everything at once, but only 2 can be active on the hero at the same time. Firearms are pistols, machine guns, and even a rocket launcher. It is convenient for her to shoot off robots' heads. There are energy weapons in the game, but there are no ammo for them. Why? Because to charge it, you need to make melee attacks. Using a melee weapon recharges the energy bar for that same energy weapon. The forced use of melee weapons along with other weapons makes the combat system very dynamic and fast. In the beginning, you don't understand it, but then, when the sequence of actions hits you, you turn into a killing machine. As the game progresses, you will be able to create your own unique build by choosing the melee and ranged weapons that are convenient for you. And the sweetest part, I forgot to mention that all the items in the game Atomic Heart have quality indicators, which determine the number of upgrades that can be installed on them. More rare things, more weapon kit, our character is more effective. I'll tell you how to get rare recipes for weapons below. Also, unnecessary weapons and equipment can be disassembled into parts, getting the necessary components. And it will be possible to install and remove additional modules on weapons right during the battle. Here. Opponents. And now we will talk about those whom we have to neutralize in the game. There are two types of opponents in the game. These are robots and some form of organics that grew up in secret laboratories and broke out under the guise. Yes, you will have to deal with revived plants, perhaps they even have a mind, but most likely not. I didn't see them during the test, so I can't tell you for sure, but robots, that's another story. There are many robots, they are different and you won't be able to kill all the robots, now I'll tell you why. The game has dummy robots, Vovkaki, boss robots, flying robots, running robots that shoot lasers, rockets from their faces, tunnel digging robots and many others. All robots are united in an ecosystem. Security cameras are connected to it, which also control a lot of space and control points. If you start killing robots just like that, then sooner or later the system will notice this and send robot bees to fix the robots you killed. If you kill robot bees, the system will send more and more robots to fix the problem. And in the end, you, like me, will run around a map from a huge crowd of robots until you run out of ammunition or someone skillfully trips you up, and you see the inscription you died. And after several such deaths, the player will understand that they don't have to go ahead, but they need to interact with the ecosystem, turn off the cameras, take control of the control points, and then the missions will be real. All opponents in the game must be studied, weaknesses and their behavior patterns identified. If you've played Souls-like games, this will be familiar to you. Fast, interesting or all-inclusive. It has already been announced that the plot of the game can be completed in 20 to 25 hours of play, and at the presentation we were given an approximate scheme of how this can be done. So, the bare plot can be completed at the time indicated above. But if you want to learn more about the world of the game, you will need to complete side tasks, from which you can learn even more interesting things. But if you want to play the game with top weapons, then you will need rare recipes that you can get for fighting in arenas. This may take you a little more time and will not move you much away from the passage of the plot, but this aspect of the game you can evaluate. This is how I see it: fast, interesting, or an all-inclusive system. Everyone will find something suitable for themselves. The plot itself and the personalities asked us, it seems, not to spoil, so this is where I will complete my description of an hour-and-a-half game session. During the game, when studying the environment and location at the very beginning, the main character is guided through the city of Chelobe, which floats in the air on the Icarus platform. The city is preparing for the holiday, and the path runs through a monument with an eternal flame, near which I stopped to listen to stories and watch to the sculpture. It is felt that the developers worked out the environment and the world quite deeply so that it was saturated with that era, those words, deeds, slogans. Everything that the people around the main character say the player may not listen to, just go further to the mark on the map, or maybe stop and look at or listen to something with interest. A rather tangible part of the story can be gleaned from the riddles and puzzles that are present in the game. Of course, you can run ahead in the story and leave this content behind, or you can open up the game world in a larger volume. Outcome. The game is released on February 21, 2023, in Russia on VK Play, in the world, on Steam and on consoles. If you like the project, then feel free to buy the game and wait for the release. If in doubt, wait for the release and the assessments of those experts you trust. Separately, I want to note that before the release of the game they promised to release a separate novel in the Atomic Heart universe on 600 pages, which will allow even more penetration into this version of the universe. I would like to separately express my deep gratitude to the developers for such a reverent attitude towards the game and the world as a whole.